Consolidating the masses behind your cause has never been more important, because if you aren't doing it, someone you can't fucking stand is. And they're just going to create a million little clones of themselves to do their bidding. Behind your favorite ideologue just might be a foreign superpower, quietly pushing their massive finger on the scale to tip it in their favor. For the sake of this video, these are the manipulation metrics a government is getting graded on. 1. How well can you control your own population? According to the wisdom of a 15th century political genius, you should never direct your ire towards your citizens. The masses have little threat to a ruler by themselves, but if you somehow manage to piss enough of them off, they become an unstoppable force hellbent on one thing: deposing your ass. So how do you prevent this? Well, ideally, don't be an autocrat, but with high risk comes high reward. Someone once asked the political thinker if it's better to be feared or loved, and Machiavelli responded, if one cannot be both, it's better to be feared. But who says you can't be both? And with today's technology, it's easier than ever. Track the good Samaritans, reward them to garner love, and make an example out of them. But the less desirables? Well, let's just say your loyal subjects should only know rumors of what happens to them if they step out of line. 2. How well can you control foreign populations? Manipulation by foreign media is something the US has worried about since the invention of the radio. The idea of a foreign enemy beaming propaganda to your civilian population is kind of concerning. So back when the legislative branch still passed laws, they pushed one out to restrict foreign entities from owning more than 25% of broadcasting companies. Makes sense. In a world of countries that look to use speech as a weapon, America is kind of the natural battleground for two big reasons: the First Amendment and the fact that we're the biggest player in the world. You have the most to win if you gamble against us. I'm going to be looking at how well countries use rhetoric to incept ideas into the American public that give themselves an upper hand at the geopolitical negotiation table. 3. How harmonic is your messaging apparatus? If your movement is arguing the best way to do something, that makes your side look weak, even if it works out crucial details for the future. Your movement has to have an ironclad resolve, with no dissent from people adjacent to your opinions slowing you down. Your side needs to look strong, confident, and above else, right every single fucking time. You can't have that with your own supporters questioning your every move. In a world where confidence buys qualification, nuance looks like weakness. And lastly, how well can you obscure your manipulation? This is the most insidious of all criteria, and it's pretty important. If you want to manipulate your own population, fear and love are necessary. Fear buys compliance, and love makes sure that fear doesn't turn into hate. Civilians that hate but not fear their leaders are very fucking scary for the ruling class. But if you're trying to incept the minds of foreign nationals, you have way less power to invoke fear and love. So unless you have nuclear weapons, you're going to have to be crafty. If your enemy is bipolar, you can appeal to half their persona and sit back and relax while you watch the internal conflict unfold. In a world that tracks everything, it's truly impossible to get away with anything. But so long as you keep the right information away from enough people, no one should look long enough to pay attention. So, with that said, let's see how the biggest influencers use their power to get what they want.
早上好，中国！现在我有冰淇淋，我很喜欢冰淇淋，但是速度与激情就比冰淇淋。
China probably has the most famous form of mass manipulation, with its social credit system. The idea most Americans have is you say something the Chinese government doesn't like, and they take away social points. Kinda true, but what is the Chinese social credit system? America likes money. Americans like money. But not all Americans are fiscally responsible. If you're a bank, giving out loans without some kind of financial history is kinda like playing a roulette wheel. How do I know who is likely to pay me back? In this country, we have a FICO credit score, and having a higher one probably means you're better at paying your bills on time. So I, as the bank, won't stress too much when I give you a loan. Businesses also like money, and they usually borrow a fuck ton of it. So there needs to be some way to let lenders know what business is likely to default on their payments. Yeah, kinda like that. In America, the general feeling is if a company and the government can do the same thing, let the company do it. Since China leans heavier towards a command-style economy, they're going to be the middleman for a lot of economic activity. This is really fucking convenient if you want to incentivize good behavior and punish bad behavior. On the national scale, the social credit system is a lot more credit than social. Like us Americans, Chinese needs a system to predict who's going to pay back their debt. Most current news roughly agrees that the Chinese feds want to keep the financial and social credit separated. That means, ideally, you shouldn't face financial ramifications for social actions, the same way my FICO doesn't go down every time I clown on someone in our government. In November 2022, they drafted the legal framework to more or less finish the financial side. But hold up, does that mean all those social credit memes are a lie? Funny memes are the meta, which usually means some exaggeration. But the ones about social credit aren't false. The feds may claim they don't want to make social credit enforcement on a national level, but smaller regional governments definitely do it. Maybe the feds are against a nationwide social system, or it's too much work to build a system that controls 1.4 billion people from the top down. Or just maybe, they're testing what works at the small scale and implementing the successes on the national level. If you know anything about the Chinese social credit system, you're probably thinking about the Rong Chen point system. Okay, I find most of you annoying, so I'm gonna track the shit you do, and if you piss me off, I'm just gonna make your life harder. That's not very democratic.
Who the fuck said that?
Look, I've thought about this a lot, and I just want to reward people that help the collective out. And if we encourage and enforce this behavior, it'll be better for everyone. What kind of behavior? I don't know, just some common sense shit. Like drunk driving, that'll lose most of your points. Cheating on a spouse, yeah, that's a decent amount gone. Repaying your loans late. Okay, that sounds reasonable. Not recycling, yeah. Cheating in video games. That'll get you a fuck ton of points taken off. Yeah, that last one sounds kind of personal. Spreading harmful information on online spaces. Police, take them.
What? I'm not online.
What? You're not online? Right. It's not all demerits. You can get points too, like paying bills on time, winning competitions that make China look good, and oh yeah, yesterday Miss Huang Yan donated a TV worth about $450, so I gave her like 30 points. Wait, saying something you don't like is worth 50 points though? Yeah, that's equivalent to $750. So don't say shit! Yeah, my brother just lost all of his points because his stupid ass couldn't stop debating medical info online. Americans have been shitposting for vaccines. No, he wasn't shitposting. It's an actual contested issue. Okay, you know what? Fine, now let it slide. Now here's what you get for following the rules. Good scores get you good loans. Bad scores restrict certain actions like traveling the country by plane or train. You can't go to certain schools. Applying to move to high-tier cities like Beijing or Shanghai, it's going to be next to impossible. And if I ever so much as see your ass typing in the number 1989, your ass is getting a visit. China is getting a high spot in this tier list, and it mostly has to do with how fucking impressive of a job they've done controlling 1 billion people. Creating incentive and disincentive structures to softly and quietly guide people to do things you like is an amazing use of technology. And even though a little dystopian, it sure beats having to keep secret police on staff. They mostly successfully block off foreign media, and if they do let it in, it's because China forces foreign companies to bend to their will. Yeah, kinda like how Chinese viewers love WWE, NBA, and Disney, so if those companies want a piece of the pie, they gotta get rid of anything China doesn't like. You got players protesting in Hong Kong? BAM! Not anymore. China surely does meddle in some international events, but others on this list do it so much more clearly, but maybe that speaks to how well they obscure their manipulation. Who knows? So, China gets its rightful spot in A tier. If I could see a bit more effort put into meddling with international politics, like with what they tried with Taiwan, they would absolutely deserve a spot in S tier. Keep it up, buddy.